Hey, what's up guys? My name's Specialist Jackson Lammy with the 10th BSB at Fort Drum, New York. And today I'm going to tell you how to get a 600 on the ACFT. Now after this video, I fully expect every single person who watches it will get a 600 on the ACFT. Now first of all, and I think this is the most important point, if I was to make the whole video about one point, this is what it would be. People need to be more efficient when they work out in terms of time management, and they have to expect less of themselves in terms of the time dedication for the gym, okay? Let me break that down for you. Now, a lot of people, when they talk about going to the gym, they're thinking in their minds, this is gonna be an hour and a half, a 2 hour, a 3 hour expenditure investment of time, okay? You gotta get home from work, you gotta change out, you gotta take your supplements, you gotta get your friends, you got to drive all the way to the gym, and then you're going to stand around in groups of like 5 people waiting for each person to finish the exercise. It's a huge waste of time. It's hugely inefficient. Okay, I always go to the gym by myself. It's super important that you go almost every single day, and on the weekdays you should definitely try to get another workout in addition to PT, whether it's right after PT, whether it's later in the day. Okay, now expect less of yourself. What do I mean by that? Don't even worry about doing all that extra stuff to go to the gym. Just go right before lunch. I definitely encourage leadership to have all the gyms open. I hear a lot of talk about missing weights and stuff, but I don't see a lot of missing weights. So I think that there should be more gyms open for people just to go to before lunch. Stop in for 15 or 20 minutes. After work, just right when you're walking to your car, stop in, don't even change out. Just go in your OCPs. Go after PT. You know, you're already sweaty, just stop in there and get some workouts in. That's a smarter way to manage your time. Now also notice, while you're in the gym, like I said, people take way too long in between sets and people waste a lot of time. Now, this is a dynamic of powerlifting. What powerlifters do is they spend a lot of time in between sets because your muscles need to be at the highest possible function to lift the most amount of possible weight. What this does is it gets your muscles to adapt themselves to the maximum possible weight. That's counterproductive not only for anaerobic endurance, which is what you're going to use for the ACFT, but also for optimal body composition, where powerlifters, as you see, they tend to have a higher composition of fat. They do a lot of gorging and packing on the pounds, which honestly, I don't think looks that great. But if you're into powerlifting, obviously more power to you. But hypertrophy is different than powerlifting. With hypertrophy, you're talking about what bodybuilders do. And that's gonna be less weight, more sets, less time in between sets. Muscular endurance and hypertrophy, looking big, looking cut, and maxing out the ACFT and being able to do 100 push-ups, those all go hand in hand. And if you stay on that ball, that's not saying you're not going to be able to bench 300 after a year or two, because keep cranking up your bench, that's naturally what's going to happen. But people fall victim to this, I need to spend 10 minutes in between sets. That's not the case, okay? What you should do is, in fact, what I do is I always do a circuit. I'll do a circuit of, up to 10 different exercises. But usually what I expect of myself in my little bit of time that I spend in the gym each time I come, which generally if I'm not doing cardio, could be less than half an hour in cases. And I try to get 21 to 25 sets. I do a 7 exercise circuit, okay? Now, for example, I'll hit the bench once, then I'll go and I'll do skull crushers. Then I'll do an unrelated exercise. And this is all very flexible, okay? I'll do some shrugs, okay? Don't neglect your shoulders because it makes you look good, gives you a good shape in the shirt, okay? I'll do some curls, trying to give some width to my biceps. That also helps you with ACFT related exercises like the leg tuck. I never forget about different ACFT related exercises. Don't forget about the sprint drag carry. If I practice a sprint drag carry, I'll do 4 sets of sprint drag carry, 3 sets. I'll put it right in my circuit with my knee tucks. I maxed out the knee tucks when I started. I never maxed them out because I always incorporate them into my circuit. Not every circuit, but during the week, I will definitely do probably upwards of 9 sets of knee tucks, ideally, especially when I'm training for the ACFT. Okay, stop in the gym real quick. Stop in the gym before lunch and do a circuit, a 5 exercise circuit. Literally 15 or 20 minutes, you can do 15 sets, okay? Measure your exercises in terms of sets and try to get the time down. Now, this is gonna lower your weight. Like throughout your workout, especially when your endurance isn't built up, your weight is gonna go down. But it's not all about how much you can put on the bench. It's about the ACFT. It's about the amount of work that you're accomplishing. And it may seem counterintuitive, but that's really gonna increase your strength, it's gonna increase your endurance, it's gonna increase the size, so you're gonna look stronger. Arnold Schwarzenegger never won a powerlifting competition, to my knowledge, okay? So that would be the most important thing. Don't worry about changing out, just stay in your PTs, just stay in your OCPs, Don't worry about having to go to the best gym, just go somewhere, even just in your backyard, and lift rocks. All right, regarding the ACFT hand release T push-up, I definitely have a good tip for you. I watched a video by a guy who maxed it, who said that you should put your hands down closer to your lower chest, so I tried it. What that does is it causes you to do almost more of a decline press, which in a way takes away from the range of motion and also works your triceps more than your anterior deltoids. Your anterior deltoids are the front of your shoulders. They're one of the most overworked muscle groups because you hit it basically in most of the pressing exercises that you do, including the overhead press and the bench press. Now that muscle wears out real quick during the T push-up. So it's smart to not only work that muscle, you can do it by doing hand raises like this, but try to take some of the pressure off the muscle by bringing your hands down a little bit further. Now I'm gonna be honest, I definitely do T push-ups. I practice them for muscle memory and I incorporate them into my circuits, but I focus more on pressing related exercises and tricep related exercises like the skull crusher. So I do incline dumbbell press, I do flat bench, I do skull crushers and stuff like that. ACFT related exercises are gonna get you jacked as well. So kill 2 birds with 1 ball throw and max out the ACFT and get jacked like me. Now for working out the ball throw, basically you just gotta do the ball throw. Doing the ball throw is not hard. Now if you're really bad at the ball throw and you're also really bad at the squat, then you definitely wanna work out the squat too, because the ball throw without legs is like a golf swing without using your body. You can't get a lot of power just from doing that. Now, if you use your whole body, you're gonna get a lot more power. Just like the ball throw, when you come down, you need a lot of power pushing yourself up. So if you're really weak on the ball throw, definitely do some squats as well. That's gonna help you out considerably. Literally, this is just as good as the ball throw. All you do is come down like this, like you're doing a deadlift, and you throw it up in the air. That's gonna work out all the muscle groups needed for the ball throw. At Fort Drum, we have a saying, find a way or make one. I'm gonna be talking about making one. And by one, I mean new neurologic pathways in your cerebral cortex. I like to think of individuals as having 2 different selves, the immediate gratification self and the long-term gratification self. So if somebody asks you what you want to do, a lot of times there are 2 different answers. What do I want to do right now? Or what do I want to do right now that would help me in the future? Now, the trick is to merge these 2 together. It takes a little bit of discipline to change your lifestyle, but not as much as you might think. Now, Newton says, an object in motion stays in motion. So without any external stress to the system, your comfortable habits will go on uninterrupted, okay? If you provide an initial push to change your habits, oftentimes they will go on as well, just like the ball in space. If you're in solitary confinement in prison and the only thing they slip through your peephole is a book, you're not only going to read that book, but you're going to find yourself engrossed in that book. In fact, it's very ironic that the focus that solitary confinement is going to force onto you is the same focus that you wish that you had when you were a free citizen. The trick is to take away your own freedom and do this by a natural and logical succession of knocking yourself outside of your comfortable balance and forging new pathways for your habits and your ideals in order to accomplish your goals. Okay, I'm an artist. Okay, I work with Autodesk Maya, which is an animation software. I find that working with this software and building my project on skyoptional.com is funner for me than playing with video games. But if you're in the culture of it, and that's what your friends do, and that's what you do for your entertainment, then you're naturally acclimating yourself to the psychological rewards that come from playing video games. I am in favor, and I'm naturally attracted to people that look for bettering themselves, putting themselves in a position of power, taking their free time to go outside of the box and to find new ways and old ways to practice bettering themselves and getting themselves closer to mastery of whatever domain interests them. Whatever your goals are in life, it requires work. So once you start stacking up that work, you can become obsessed with it. It's a pile of work. Each day you have an hour here, an hour here, and an hour here. And there's different piles of work that are accumulating. If you have healthy habits for a decade, you're literally going to have mountains of your work piled up. And what that's going to do for your future, and that's what that's going to do in terms of influencing your peers to lead healthy lifestyles and to be more productive and disciplined into overall society, is incalculable. The sprint drag carry is a very important event. You should be working on it even if you can max it. Your unit should have equipment to do it with more weight than the test calls for. This is my closest event to not maxing. It destroys your legs, which makes a 2-mile run a torturous experience. Fast cardio type circuit work is sometimes the hardest to get into on your own, so I'd suggest making the most out of the standard PT schedule race circuit workouts in addition to your own. Short endurance training is incredibly important for this test because if you're exhausted by the run, your luck is run out and you might as well just kiss your 600 chances goodbye. You're going to have a very hard time maxing the ACFT if you're overweight. I take a fiber supplement in the morning, Metamucil, take creatine, a nitrous oxide booster, a protein shake, and a couple handfuls of plain raw almonds and pecans. I'll have a square lunch and dinner from the DFAC without extras. Nuts are made of over 50% healthy fats, which is going to decrease your desire for unhealthy fats, and also your body burns up to 80% fat for fuel during rest periods and light workouts. If you're overweight, the best possible thing you can do is go for a long bike ride. Look at this graph, which shows the percent of fuel your body derives from fat over time during exercise. This man is burning 84% fat on his 5th or 6th hour on the bicycle. This man's literally going to look like Jack Skellington by the end of the bike ride. I love long distance runs and sprints, but I've found that for 2-mile specific workouts, the sprints are more effective. I'll do 8 400s, which amounts to about 2 miles. This is an excellent workout and you're not going to lose muscle doing it. But working on your 2 miles is a complex subject. If you do a lot of biking, hiking, or in my case, golfing, it's going to reflect very well on your 2 mile. I ran my fastest 2 mile in basic training, which is 12:14, and I'm pretty sure I accomplished that from the sheer amount of marching and standing in formation that we did. You have got to carb load before the ACFT. Don't stuff yourself with junk food, but eat a lot of carbs until you're full from about 48 hours from the event. I frequently diet, and when you exercise on a caloric deficit, you feel like crap because your body runs out of fuel. As a personal example, one time I ate an entire large pizza and immediately after went for a guilt run. The carbs in that pizza had me literally running on an all-out sprint on the 6th mile of that run, and I was just about at my record overall pace. Another example is one time I went for a slow, easy 4-mile run while dieting, and I couldn't even keep running, so I stopped after 3 miles. 2 days later, after carb loading, I ran the division race and did the 4-mile in 24:22, which is a personal best. If you eat too much sugar, your body's going to produce insulin to regulate your blood sugar, which causes it to be converted to fat. Your body does not want too much sugar entering your bloodstream at one time unless you're maxing out in the gym, which is why whole grains are better because they break down into sugar over time, almost like a time-release medication. American kids these days eat so much sugar that they are literally developing insulin resistance, which is a precursor to diabetes. This is when insulin is so inundated with blood sugar that it ceases to be effective. Stop eating so much sugar. It's not healthy for you and not healthy for the country. This is one of the reasons why fiber is so important. It slows the digestion of sugars and therefore regulates your metabolism. It also cleans your arteries of cholesterol, which lowers your blood pressure, allowing for more blood to be transported by your heart, supplying your muscles with more energy. This is why I take nitrous oxide supplements, arginine and citrulline. They dilate your blood vessels, allowing more blood to access your muscles. If you want to max the ACFT, let me reiterate. Don't worry so much about gym preparation. Get to the gym the fastest way possible. Matter of fact, just poke your head out of your mom's basement and lift some garden stones before she gets home from work. The smallest amount of time and logistics demanded, the less cost it is for you to sacrifice to get in there. One last thing, didn't want to leave out creatine. Creatine has been proven through studies to double your muscle gain from working out. Now, I want to caution that you want to be careful with creatine because your body's system enter catabolic and anabolic states. So if you're in an anabolic state, you're going to gain weight, you're going to gain muscle, and you're going to gain fat. You want to be careful about how much muscle and how much fat you gain. So I don't know if you ever heard of Athlean X, but he's a really cut guy and he's also really strong. And he has a great channel on YouTube. He's a creatine enthusiast. But I've taken it in the past with mixed results. You can gain weight from water. You will gain water weight inevitably while taking creatine, but you can also cut and lose weight while you're on creatine. You inevitably gain fat while gaining muscle, but the upside to that is it's easier to lose fat than to lose muscle. So you're going through these cycles. As you see, bodybuilders will do bulking and cutting. They bulk way up and then they cut way down. I like to lower the curve kind of, so I'll bulk up a little bit and then I'll cut, and it's kind of a natural process that you go through, but definitely doubles your strength gain and it increases your anaerobic endurance. So I would definitely suggest that you take creatine. Like I said, I would caution you to keep dieting and keep being smart about what you eat while taking creatine. All right guys, thanks so much for watching my video. Really appreciate it. Send me a like, send me a follow, subscribe, send me $10,000. Hey, whatever you feel is necessary. So have yourself a great rest of the day and be sure to max that ACFT in the next couple months.